good to get through the third scrimmage of the year. That's unusual for us. We usually go through two pretty intense live scrimmages a year. This was our third. Um, Looks like we got out of there relatively healthy again, which was really important. You feel like you're pushing it when you go with three live scrimmages, where you're getting thin at certain positions, and so we do have to look at that and alter some of the scrimmage today. We're getting certain position groups that I don't want to get into, specifics on that, but getting thin at a few spots, a few positions. With injury and with COVID, everything is still manageable at this point in time, but it does get you a touch thin when you're going 3 and 4 groups and getting into a heavy scrimmage. So overall, very pleased with getting it in and getting some live action, getting some more looks, getting Terry under center again, taking those snaps and continuing to get the rust off. And so overall, very productive day.
Josh?
Hey, Mark, on the subject of health, in the past you've been pretty forthcoming, I think, about injuries and things like that. Obviously, the COVID is a different wrinkle, and you got to handle that more delicately. Do you have a plan in mind for game days on how you're all going to address, like, will there be like a list of players that are available on game days, or do you kind of have an idea of what that's going to look like?
Yeah, it's a great question, Josh. Me, you've been covering it for a while. I am pretty open about it, probably more open than a lot of coaches, because I feel like that information's getting out there anyway. If you got somebody that has a twisted ankle or something's walking around campus in a boot, y'all are going to get that info anyway. So, I don't get too bent out of shape about the competitive advantage, when it comes to, certain injuries. There's been times when I've had to keep it tight to the vest, and there's times when it's truly uncertain. So there's no reason for me to comment on it because you're uncertain whether that individual is going to be able to play or not. If he's clearly out, I've generally told you all that as soon as I know. With COVID, it is different, and to be totally honest with you, Josh, I gotta think through that a little bit more. We've been, the concentration has been on the players that we have, keeping them safe, and continuing to get better each and every day. And Tony's right here, so at some point, I've got to discuss that and see, what I'm permitted to talk about. I know I'm not permitted to talk about any certain individual, but I have to think through that a little bit more, Josh.
John Hale?
Mark, you mentioned getting thin in a few positions. We've already heard from some teams who are saying there are 20, 30 players unavailable because of contact tracing and all those things. How have you all been managing that aspect of it so far? Has that been an issue for you? Not people who are necessarily infected, but just because of contact tracing.
It is an issue. I wouldn't say it's been a major issue to us to this point. I did have to alter, portions of the scrimmage today because of that. But we still got a lot of good work in and got the players, the necessary work. So it definitely is different, and you're having to manage that.
Jeff Drummond?
Hey, Mark, I was curious about your opening statement about the 3 scrimmages getting thin and the intensity and that kind of thing. With Terry having not played in so long, is there any kind of concern about the need for him to take any kind of contact before that first game, or is that something that you try to keep him up?
Yes and no. I think it's always like that with quarterbacks. As you know, we have some designed quarterback runs There's been, limited times this year when I've put them live when it's on design quarterback run, but not with Terry at this point. So I think that's a fair question. However, you have to think about it like a normal year, and I can't speak for the whatever how many Division One, how many 130 schools. I can't speak for all of them because I don't know what they're doing, but I would imagine 99% of them stay away from their quarterback, throughout camp, and we all managed to go into the first game. Is it a concern? Sure. I think Terry would admit that. He hasn't taken a full hit in over a year, that's a concern. We'll try to put him in as many live situations as we can without injuring him. The reps that he's in there right now, I could tell you there's bodies coming all over the place. That's just the way we practice, and defensively, we do have some decent experience. We have some good, talented defensive line. We put them under immense pressure every day, just in situational work, and then we do blitz every day as well, and you have big bodies flying at him all over the place, and he has to make decisions, and so he's feeling it. I can promise you that, and he's also pulling it down and running, just like he always has when he's comfortable. Or when he feels the need to scramble, to either scramble by time to throw the ball down the field or to scramble for a first down. So, again, I'm trying to be quick on my whistle with that, but I've seen enough to where I'm comfortable with him. Is there some rust? I don't think there's any doubt. I think that comes with playing and playing live football. So that was a long answer for you that I really danced around it, didn't you? But bottom line is we'll continue to be careful with them. No, I don't think I'll go completely live with them at all this camp. I don't think that'd be very smart.
Derek,
Mark, like you said, you're just 2 weeks out from playing. Because of that, how did you kind of balance those first team reps today with it being so close to anything?
Well, we went as usual with the 1s and 2s, just not as many sets, not as many plays. We had a couple long drives, which I wanted to see because I wanted to gauge their conditioning, and I feel good about that. But we altered it a touch, being that it was the third scrimmage. We maybe just probably got 25% less than a normal scrimmage with the 1s.
Nick,
Mark, you get to watch a bunch of other teams over the next 2 to 3 weeks before you get to play. I know that Navy game we saw the negative impacts of not tackling before the game. What are some of the things that you're going to keep an eye on to try to head off at the pass before you take the field?
Well, there's always, that uncertainty. I've answered that question before as far as the first game. Are you nervous? Are you, I think you're always a bit more anxious for that first game because, you have a pretty good idea what your team is, but you really don't know until you get out there and you play. And each season, each team has a new identity. And so there's things, but there's, you're looking at pre-snap penalties. There were some things that came up today that I need to address and have been popping up throughout the week. Nothing we can't handle, but some great coaching points off of it today. But I think you look at pre-snap penalties, as I tell the team and I've told you guys, and it's true. I mean, you can't beat anybody. You can't win a football game until you quit beating yourself. And, we've been, knock on wood, we've been good through the years at not beating ourselves. Now, don't start throwing darts. I know we've made our mistakes. Now, chill out. So I know we need to continue to offset issues and problems, but again, you can't win until you quit beating yourself. And pre-snap penalties, turnovers. I watched a great high school football game last night online, and penalties were an issue. I'm sorry, turnovers were an issue. So I think that the 3 scrimmages that we have, we're putting the ball in hands and making full tackles as clean as we can. As far as protecting the football and turnovers with fumbles, things of that nature. Also, the tackling, we're going live. We've gone 3 times completely live, and we thud. We're pretty physical every day. So, we're getting as much, live tackling or simulated live tackling as much as possible to work on that. But those are things that pop up early. Miss pre-snap penalties, penalty turnovers, missed tackles, things of that nature. And so we've worked hard. We've had a lot of practice time, and hopefully that'll pay off for us.
John Hale.
Mark, have you gotten to the point where you're starting to see some separation among that receiver group, guys stepping up to join Josh on that first line?
There's been different guys from day to day. They have really worked hard as a group, and there were some nice catches out there today. Some guys have stepped up, so we'll continue to work with them.
Curtis.
With the NFL starting this weekend, I was interested to hear how proud you were of Josh Allen, him being named a captain in just his second season.
Does not surprise me, not a bit. He's well equipped to be a leader anywhere, whether it's in sports on a football team or in being a CEO somewhere. So he's well equipped. Proud of him.
Lonnie.
Mark, I want to revisit subject you had early on about altering your practice sessions somewhat, and talk about the possibility of how some of your second teams are doing. Guys like Josh Jones and Jeremy Flax, and aside from that, Joey Galloway.
Joe's doing really good. He and Bo both had a good scrimmage today, I thought. Very comfortable. Josh Jones, we have high hopes for. He's one of those guys that got quite a bit of reps today that needs the work. Same with Jeremy Flax. I think Jeremy has shown some really good signs. We're excited with what we recruited, and really all those guys. So that's the good thing. Going back to the previous question with the ones, maybe getting a touch less today than they normally would. But we really got a lot of work with some of the younger guys. But because, again, I've talked about this each and every day with this situation that we're in this year, you don't know how you're going to get hit. And so you need a lot of bodies ready to play. So we are working those guys. And just like any first-year offensive lineman, that's a tough position to play. But they're getting better, and Coach Schlarm does a great job. So we'll continue to get guys ready to play.
I'll have one more while I got your attention. He said, early on you alluded to the fact that Abule Abadi Fitzgerald was battling injuries. How is he coming along? Has he got the help yet?
He is. He's healthy. He's out there and getting better.
Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll wrap up, Coach, with Josh.
Are you finding that, has it been tougher to keep guys, quote unquote, in the bubble during, like, as schools kind of got going, or are you finding that to be, similar to what it was like in the summer when you guys kind of had camp yourself?
Yeah, I don't think there's any denying that it's a challenge. I could only go, and base what our team is doing based off the results that I'm getting, and we've been very good, percentage-wise. We'd like to be perfect, but we're not. But as I just mentioned to them, continue to make the sacrifices that they've had. It's extremely important. We've worked very hard for a long time to get in this position. We have a great opportunity in front of us. And, I appreciate what they've done to this point because our numbers are certainly lower than many. And we want to continue to work to try to get them at zero. But obviously they're making some sacrifices and doing some good things. Is it a challenge? Absolutely. These are young men and young people that are in college, and they're exposed to a lot. But again, we all know this can happen to anybody. You can get it going to grabbing a coffee or grabbing some food or going to the grocery store. So we just want to continue to be diligent and taking the steps necessary to keep us all safe.
All right, guys. Well, the players up here, as
Thank you.
soon as